Hi, everyone, and welcome to English for You. I'm Erin.
And I'm Chickling.
And we are talking kind of about some things that have been happening in social media news recently. So I have a question. Do you use social media like everybody else?
Yeah, I think I do. I use Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, but not as much as... Well, I think I do, but not a lot because I have a lot of work to get done.
Right.
But sometimes.
Do you use like the other ones like Snapchat or like all those kind of other things too? Or just those three?
I used to, but not anymore.
Yeah, I never got started on Twitter or Snapchat or anything, but I am on Facebook a little bit and I'm on Instagram quite a bit. I don't like Facebook as much these days. I kind of just... I don't delete my friends, but I just don't like seeing a lot of stuff. And so it's not very interesting for me on Facebook anymore. So just never gives me new information. And Instagram, I just love looking at all the pictures. And so I'm on that one quite a bit. But do you like using social media?
Well, I actually don't because it sometimes makes me feel negative.
Yes, it has a good way of doing that, of kind of like making you think negatively. I'm the same. I'm trying not to use it as much.
Yeah, it's actually not very safe sometimes.
Right.
It's just like what we're going to talk about today.
Exactly. So what she just said, it's not very safe sometimes. And so we're going to talk more about that point that she just brought up. So let's get started on today's article now.
Reading.
Facebook data scandal worries users. Millions of Facebook users were alarmed earlier this year when they learned their data had been leaked. Reports state that information from 87 million Facebook users was collected by a political consulting firm called Cambridge Analytica, CA. The social media site's policy is that user data won't be used for political purposes. Thus, U.S. lawmakers questioned Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook's chief executive officer, in April about how this leak had happened. Facebook users' personal data was first collected through an organization called Global Science Research, GSR, years ago. GSR paid thousands of people who agreed to share their Facebook data to take an online quiz. However, GSR collected information about their Facebook friends as well. Whistleblower Christopher Wiley claimed the data was sold to CA in 2014. He says the information helped CA target people with pro-Trump ads before the 2016 U.S. election. Facebook has since changed its terms of service. Still, many users have trouble trusting their information will stay private from outside companies in the future.
All right, today's article starts out by saying millions of Facebook users were alarmed earlier this year when they learned their data had been leaked. Now, there's a lot to talk about in that sentence. It's a pretty important sentence. But let's start out with learning about the phrase millions of. Now, we use this phrase when we're talking about numbers of people or things that are over 1 million. So, for example, in this sentence, we know that the actual number is over 1 million, but we can sometimes just use this phrase to say that we're talking about a very large number of something. Maybe we're guessing it's in the millions, but we don't know exactly what number it is. So, for example, we could say in China, millions of people can be found in train stations on their way home to visit their families during Chinese New Year. Now, we also talked about the verb leak. We said their data had been leaked. Now, when a person leaks information, they give the information to the media on purpose, often because the public deserves to know that someone in power is doing something wrong. Now, the person who leaks the information often tries to hide their identity so they don't get in trouble or nothing bad happens to them. Now, here's an example. The secretary of the large company's CEO leaked the news that he had been fired by the board members.
好，所以像 Aaron 老师说，刚刚这个句子很重要。那 millions of 就是有数以百万计的。那因为有可能我们不确定the exact number， 所以我们就会用这个方式去说，代表非常多的、非常大的一个数字。Right， 那这个 leak 这个字呢，就是有泄露、透露的意思。它可以当名词，也可以当动词哦。那在我们的文章里面呢，我们看到了 their data had been leaked， 这边用了被动语态，就代表他们的资料是被泄露的。So in this sentence, it works as a verb. 那如果要用名词呢，我们就可以说 the leak of the data or the leak of the information. For example, Facebook users are all very upset about the leak of their data.
That's right. Okay, so continuing on, it says, reports state that information from 87 million Facebook users was collected by a political consulting firm called Cambridge Analytica. Now, another really long, important sentence here. First, let's talk about the noun information. So we're learning that someone's information got leaked. Now here, information is facts and details about something or somebody. Now, information about a person could be their name, their age, their address, what their personality is like, what kind of things they like to buy or do in their spare time, even what they look like. Now, for information about an event, for example, could include when and where it is, what to bring, who will be there. So there's different kinds of information for different things. Here's an example sentence. Do you have any information about the spring fair? I'd like to take my family there.
所以 information 就是有资讯啊、资料的意思。It is an uncountable noun, so we don't say an information. We usually say a piece of information or a bit of information, unless you're talking about it like a criminal charge. Then you can say an information. 就是当是有起诉案的意思的时候，才可以用 an information. 不然当资讯的意思是不会用一个不会说一个资讯这样子讲。For example, 你可以说 The tenant may lay an information against his landlord. 就是租户呢可能会向他的房东提出告发。那我们回到原来的意思哦，就是资讯、资料这个意思的话，你就可以说 The book you got yesterday contains much useful information. 你昨天买的书有很多非常有用的资料。So we also see another word, political, in our last sentence.
That's right. So let's talk about this adjective political. Now, this adjective describes anything that is related to politics or the government and the way a country is run. So what we described here in our sentence was a political consulting firm. So this firm, Cambridge Analytica, is actually kind of related to politics in some ways, what we're saying here. Now, here's another example. Debbie went to a political protest because she believed the president had done something wrong.
Okay, 所以 political 就是有政治的意思。It is the adjective of politics 是政治这个名词来的形容词哦。So a person that is professionally involved in politics, we can call them or call him or her a politician, 一个政治人物。So in the last sentence, we see a political consulting firm, 就是政治顾问公司的意思。好，那我们再来看几个句子哦。那你就可以说啊。Steven and I have different political views. 就 Steven 跟我有不同的政治观点。
Okay, so when we use the word political in that sentence, we were describing this consulting firm. Now, I know you talked about it a little bit just a second ago, but let's take a minute to find out more about what it means.
Consulting, yeah, the word consulting 就是这个就咨询顾问的意思嘛，所以加上 firm， 这个 firm 就是公司啊，在这边是名词，我们就可以翻成顾问公司。不过 consulting 这个字其实是 consult 来的哦，那 consult 这个字就是有咨询、商量的意思啊，like when you consult somebody somebody about something, that means you're asking them to give you some advice.
Right. Okay, so basically what's happening here is this firm, Cambridge Analytica, works with politicians to find out how they might sort of get more information to the public. So that's what they're doing. But what it says here is that they're not really doing what they're supposed to be doing with it. So the next sentence says, the social media sites, that's Facebook, policy is that user data, that's your information, won't be used for political purposes.
所以其实这个社交媒体网站的政策就是用户的资料是不会去拿去用在政治目的上，这个 political purposes 就是政治目的。But how? How did the leak happen?
Good question, right? They shouldn't have any access to these things. Well, here's what we're going to talk about is kind of the owner of Facebook and how he can sort of explain this to us. It says, thus, U.S. lawmakers questioned Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook's chief executive officer, in April about how this leak had happened.
OK, 所以 lawmaker 就是有立法者的意思，在这边是指国会议员哦。It's a word that's very easy to remember. Just refer it to a person that makes laws. 那你就知道是a lawmaker 就是建造法律的人哦。那我们也看到 chief executive officer 这三个字加在一起的，它的意思就是 CEO， 那就是执行长的意思。我们常常听到嘛 CEO， 对，就是一个公司最大有一个最高的行政负责人的意思。
Okay, so Mark Zuckerberg hopefully has a good explanation here. All right, so it says here, Facebook users' personal data was first collected through an organization called Global Science Research, or GSR, years ago.
Okay, so what did this organization do?
Okay, well, so this data wasn't kind of initially used by Cambridge Analytica, right? So it was first used by GSR. Okay. And here's what GSR did. It said GSR paid thousands of people who agreed to share their Facebook data to take an online quiz. Okay. So remember, this is a scientific organization, not a political organization. So they're actually allowed to do this. They're allowed to collect data through Facebook because it's scientific. Now here, you can see another phrase similar to the one we learned above, millions of. We said, here they paid thousands of people. We use thousands of in the same way to show that GSR paid a big number of people, in this case over 1,000, to share their data. We could also say hundreds of or billions of in kind of the same way.
Yeah, 对啊，就是这代表很大的数字。好 But I actually was one of those quiz takers.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fun, but I've heard that it's not actually very safe because if you take the quiz, they might take your information.
Right. Yeah. Well, in this case, they have to say, we're going to use your data, so we'll pay you money. So it's not just like they're not just stealing your information for this company.
It's like exchanging.
Right. So the problem comes in about how the data got from the scientific company to the political company. Yeah. Okay, so here's another problem. It says, however, GSR collected information about their Facebook friends as well.
Okay.
But back to the latest leak. It says, whistleblower Christopher Wiley claimed the data was sold to CA, that's Cambridge Analytica, in 2014. Now, here we see the word whistleblower. This word kind of has a special meaning in English, so let's take a quick break to find out what it means.
You look worried about something.
I am. I think my company is breaking the law.
Whoa, that's pretty serious. What do you think you're going to do?
Well, I feel like I have to say something. It's selling food products that could make people really sick.
Yeah, it sounds like being a whistleblower is the best thing to do.
No, the company's selling bad food, not whistles.
I don't mean actual whistles. A whistleblower is someone who tells the media or the government when their company is breaking the law.
Okay, so whistleblower means 有指政府部门或公司里的告发者、揭发者。
Yeah, so when do you think you're going to tell someone about this?
Well, you work for a newspaper, right?
Yeah?
Okay, then I guess I am being a whistleblower right now. Grab your pen.
Okay, welcome back. So we see in this sentence that whistleblower, Christopher Wiley, that means he's the person who kind of gave the information about this sort of problem. Okay, so he claimed the data was sold to Cambridge Analytica in 2014. Now, when you claim something, you state something that you believe to be true, but maybe you're not 100% certain that it is true. You think you have good evidence, but maybe other people kind of need to prove it in another way. So here's an example. Catherine claims that she was the first to cross the finish line, but we'll have to check the video to be sure.
Okay, Aaron 老师的句就是说，他这个 Catherine 她宣称说我是第一个过终点线的，但是我们还是要看一下影片去确认，代表说 claim 不代表是正确的哦，就只是你是宣称的意思而已。So it's a verb here, but it can also be a noun. So as usual, we'll just take a look at a few more sentences. 好，所以你可以说 Kelly claimed that she was innocent. Kelly 宣称她自己是无辜的，但是我们并不知道她是不是无辜的。Or you can say, can you give any evidence to support your claim? 你可以提供任何证据来支持你的说法吗？那除了宣称以外，还有得到、索取、认领的意思啊。所以索取了一块土地就可以说 claim the land. 那 as a noun, you can say he made a claim to the land.
Right, okay. So there's a lot of information we've given you guys here. Let's kind of pull it all together. So this company, GSR, it paid people to do an online quiz, but it also took information not just from the quiz takers, but also their friends. So that amounted to about 87, altogether 87 million people when you put them all together, the quiz takers and their friends. And then they sold all of that data to Cambridge Analytica, which is a political company. So here's what's happening next. That's Christopher Wiley, says the information helped CA target people with pro-Trump ads before the 2016 U.S. election. So it's obviously being used in a bad way because it's helping target people with ads. Now, an ad is a picture or a video or a set of words that are used to sell things to people. So, for example, you might see ads in newspapers or when you watch videos on YouTube or when you're watching TV. So, for example, we could say, I don't like to play games on my phone because they have too many ads.
好，就是太多广告的意思哦。那 ads 就是广告，那 short for an advertisement 就是这个字的简写啦。所以什么的东西的广告就可以说 an advertisement for something, like an advertisement for alcoholic drinks, 就是酒精饮料的广告嘛。那好的宣传就是 good advertisement, 不好就是 bad advertisement. For example, 你可以说Good advertisements are designed in a simple yet attractive way to catch people's attention. 好的广告用简单然后吸引力的方式来吸引我们的注意。Okay, so we see election in the sentence, right?
That's right. So they were trying to sort of get more people to either vote for this person or that person by using ads in an election. Now, an election is an event where people vote for a person that they want to be in power, like a president of a country or even just some kind of a president of a club or an organization. What we're saying here is that the whole group of people, so in a country, all the people who live in that country, they sort of get together to decide who is going to be in charge. And this happens at an election. So, for example, we could say, my mother never tells anyone who she votes for in an election.
Yeah, I don't think anybody says that.
No.
Yes, election 就是选举的意思啊。那这个字的动词就是 elect. 那赢了选举就是 to win an election. 输了选举就是 to lose an election. For instance, you can say, Philip won the election by just 3 votes. 就 Philip 以3票赢得了选举。或者是呢，新总统刚刚当选。A new president has just been elected.
Okay, so we now know that like all of this information was sold to this company, and this company helped some politicians try to get more votes, I guess. And so we know that Facebook is not supposed to be doing that. So here's what happened. It says here, Facebook has since changed its terms of service.
就是有服务条款的意思 term 就是条件条款的意思，那加上 service 服务就会变成服务条款，所以脸书从那个时候就改变了他们的服务条款。
Now, still, even with this change, the article kind of ends with this sentence. It says, still, many users have trouble trusting their information will stay private from outside companies in the future.
OK， 那我们来看一下英文练功房这个字哦 have trouble 这个片语 have trouble trusting 这边就是会他们还是觉得呢很难去相信，所以这边就是你可以说 have problems, have trouble 或者是 have a hard time doing something， 那后面我们就会接 VING 有困难不容易做某事，那也可以搭配 some 有一些或者是 great 非常或者是 little 几乎没有这些字来修饰哦。譬如说啊，你可以说 He's always had a hard time making friends. 他一直以来都不太会交朋友，或者是 Rosemary has little trouble living on her own. 就是 Rosemary 自己过生活是没什么大问题的。
Okay, well, we're going to talk more about what we think about sort of our information being private in our For You chat, but for the article, we have to finish up. So stay tuned. We'll be right back with our For You chat question.
For You chat.
All right, so our For You chat question for today is, are you nervous about how your information on social media sites could be used? Why or why not?
I mean, I guess I can say yes and no. I am nervous because obviously, like, I don't want my information to sort of have political ads targeted to me. So that's pretty scary.
Yeah.
But no, in the fact that it's definitely going to happen eventually.
Yeah.
And like, I think this is actually just a part of the future that we're going to have to adapt to. And I think kind of this stuff happening is one of the first steps in sort of learning how to adapt to a new world with modern technology. So yes, it does make me uncomfortable, but not so uncomfortable that I'm going to stop using social media, basically. So I think we kind of need to rethink the way social media is used because we need to advance the technology and kind of figure out ways that we can use it and sort of be safe.
Yeah. Or maybe just don't write down like your real information online.
Yeah, I mean, like I know some people who don't enter their right birthday and like maybe they use an email that isn't connected to their other things, but it's getting harder and harder to kind of do that these days. So, yeah. All right. Well, what do you guys think? Do you guys share your information? Do you do these quizzes? What kind of feelings do you have about it? This is a really good discussion you can have, and it's something that's really important for everybody today. So go talk about this with your friends and classmates, but we kind of have to say goodbye now. I could talk a lot more, but
this has been going like for an hour.
Yeah, but we have to say goodbye. So for English for You, I'm Erin.
I'm Chickling.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Facebook data scandal worries users. Millions of Facebook users were alarmed earlier this year when they learned their data had been leaked. Reports state that information from 87 million Facebook users was collected by a political consulting firm called Cambridge Analytica, CA. The social media site's policy is that user data won't be used for political purposes. Thus, U.S. lawmakers questioned Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook's chief executive officer, in April about how this leak had happened. Facebook users' personal data was first collected through an organization called Global Science Research, GSR, years ago. GSR paid thousands of people who agreed to share their Facebook data to take an online quiz. However, GSR collected information about their Facebook friends as well. Whistleblower Christopher Wiley claimed the data was sold to CA in 2014. He says the information helped CA target people with pro-Trump ads before the 2016 U.S. election. Facebook has since changed its terms of service. Still, many users have trouble trusting their information will stay private from outside companies in the future.
Vocabulary Review.
Leak. No one was supposed to know about this top-secret data. How was it leaked? There has been a data leak. Now everyone knows about our company's secret deals. Information. Penelope looked up information on foreign governments for her school report. Political. The teacher encouraged the students to have a political debate about whether the new law was good or bad. Claim. Aiden claims that he can see the future, but I don't believe him. Advertisement. Ad. The brand's advertisement helped it attract a lot of new customers last month. Election. After citizens vote in the election, the country will have a new president.